Darvin, what was the biggest difference defensively in that fourth quarter, holding Phoenix to 11 points?
Defensive rebounding. You know, it just our activity, obviously getting back in transition, getting in front of the ball. Our activity behind, you know, obviously KD was drawing a ton of attention. Crowding him, trying to have a guy shifted over, what we call flood. Some people call it a tilt. But again, like I said, they're making them see bodies. And then our activity behind that. You know, guys shifted, denying them, mixing up different things off the ball, and ultimately holding them to one possession, forcing turnovers or holding them to one possession. And it worked out. You know, defensive rebound is something I'm going to be harping on all year, as well as transition defense. Our in-between game is at a good place right now, and you know, we want to strive for that to get better too. Our pick and roll coverages, our DHO coverages, man-to-man defense, shifts off the ball. But if we're A1 with our transition and start the defense with transition D, finish the defense with defensive rebounding, we'll be okay.
If you're kind of using different rotations and some 5 out, some 4 and 1, but do you still go to LeBron AD down the stretch there and see LeBron in year 21 and execute like that?
Absolutely, it's beautiful to watch, and we needed every ounce of it. You know, for him to have a well-balanced game like that, you know, with his defensive rebounds, obviously his assists, his buckets that he was able to score, block shots, 2 blocks, 2 steals. His activity was amazing. Same with AD. You know, the 3 of those guys, Bron, AD, and Christian Wood, really dominated the defensive glass between the 3 of them. And we needed all of it. It was a good win to get, a good step in the right direction. And obviously this is just the start of the marathon, but again, it's a good shot in the arm for our daily process of trying to grow and get better.
Darvin, LeBron did an on-court interview after the game, was adamant in his dismissal of any criticism pointed towards AD coming off the Denver loss. What about AD? It seems like, you know, obviously you, LeBron, are some of the leaders on this team and have ultimate faith in him. What about him? Because when we were talking to you pregame, you said, I know he's going to come out aggressive. What about him lets you have that confidence in him when he, you know, when sometimes has a game like he had in Denver?
I just think, you know, again, seeing his care factor, the type of spirit he has day in and day out, and knowing that he's his own biggest critic. You know, he takes a lot of pride in the way he performs. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, whether he hears the outside noise or not, he knows we have all the faith in the world in him. And that's not going to change. And so we're just going to keep encouraging him and, you know, pushing him to be great. And he's going to push himself to be great. And, you know, it's just one of those things where people just, you know, it's the first game of the season. I know all eyes is on that, and different things were said in the summer or whatever. None of that really matters, man. The kid is a beautiful kid. He's a beautiful human being and highly, highly skilled and talented. One of the top players in our league. And, you know, we're going to put that hedge around him and love on him and make sure he understands how important he is to our group and encourage him to be aggressive and assertive.
Darvin, LeBron played 35 minutes tonight, including all 12 in the fourth. Did you kind of plan that going in, or was that something based on what you guys are down 12 entering the fourth? Like, how did you kind of decide that, and how do you think that worked out?
I mean, I think we were dragging our feet there for the better part of the first half, and, you know, things weren't clicking, we weren't making shots, especially from 3. And, you know, he has that spirit, that intensity to put the team on his shoulders. And I had timeouts to play with. And so I went to him, I said, how we feeling? What do you want to do? And he answered my question, and you guys saw the results. So we used a couple of our timeouts to get some breathers, but, you know, having said all of that, when you got the competitive juices flowing, you got 2 of the all-time greats on the floor battling, going back and forth like that. You know, it's hard to sit out on something like that type of scenario. But obviously, you know, the recovery process starts now. You got sort of a get what you need day tomorrow, and come back in, get on the floor again on Saturday, get ready to go up to SAC. But I just my hat's off to him, man. He never ceases to amaze us, and he cares. That's why you see his type of stat line. He's laying it all out for his team, and in year 21, and I just hope a lot of these young pros out here are looking and seeing what he's doing from off the court, pre-game preparation, in-game impact, post-game recovery, and his own private sessions of making sure his body is functioning, and not just functioning, but functioning at a high level.
Darvin, we talked a lot during training camp about continuity and things like that, but it still looks like this group is still trying to find each other in a lot of different ways. What are you seeing on that part of it, and is that affecting things like aggression for certain players, and are you still seeing guys maybe being a little too passive at times?
Yeah, I mean, it comes with time, and obviously you add some new pieces, you bring some new guys, some core pieces back, but you try to add around the edges, and it's going to take that time, and not so much learning the system as it is learning each other's tendencies, on the floor tendencies, in-game tendencies. So we expected it to be this way, and the biggest thing for me, I tell the group, I encourage all of them to be aggressive and highly competitive, first and foremost. I always encourage them and let them know we need to be the most competitive team on the floor whenever we're competing against our opponent. But this time period right now, I feel like it's for us to build our mentality and reestablish our defensive identity. I saw that tonight. It was a great step in that direction. And that's going to be, our approach, being competitive, being together, holding ourselves accountable, and knowing what we're trying to get out of each and every game and each and every day. But it'll take some time. It won't happen overnight, but I'm just happy we got the win tonight. And as I said, it's great positive stimuli to what we're doing every day on the practice floor and in the film room.
Darvin, what made you decide to go with Christian on KD when he's not known for his defense, and how do you think he did?
I thought he did as about as good as anyone could do. Excuse my dry mouth. He made a commitment to me when we signed him that is a part of his game that he wants to get better at. And with his length, his agility, he's able to contest at a high rate. Some of the guys, physical defenders, may be a little bit shorter, so they're really not, causing any distraction of KD's vision when he's looking at the rim. When you got Christian guarding him and Nurkic comes to set a screen, now AD is switching on him, or Christian is pressing up on him, pushing him to AD, along with Cam and Torian. Those guys did the best job they could too, and forced him into some tough shots where he's accustomed to making those shots, but we still try to make it as tough as possible. But with Christian in particular, his length and his ability to contest and his focus, he's trying to be good on that end of the floor. And so we saw he was in a good rhythm. He was getting some huge defensive rebounds. And so I decided to go with him and throw him right in the deep end of the pool.
Darvin, sticking with Christian, he may not shot as well from the floor, seem he wants to, but he had 6 defensive rebounds in that final quarter. Is this an example that you can give to him of, your shot may not be falling, offensively it may not be there, but you can still have impact on winning in other ways?
I shouted him out in the locker room along with Brian and AD after the game. All of our guys, even Gabe Denson, his 50-50 balls, he was coming up just scrappy, moving around, scrambling, covering for guys. The whole group, D-Lo had some great moments for us early and throughout, but I told Christian when I called him over, it's like, this is the balance in your game that people need to see. And once he continues to get more confident on that end of the floor, his confidence gets boosted by his ability to just be assertive, be smart, and help us finish possessions defensively. It's just going to take him to a whole new level.
Yeah, Darvin, is it possible over here? Is it possible back here?
Raise your hand. Oh, Bill, what's up?
Is it possible this team needs LeBron so much you can't ever have a minutes limit on him?
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. Once we get more comfortable with one another, and I mean, if we don't give up offensive rebounds, if guys make a few more threes, then probably you know, it's likely he's not playing 35 minutes tonight. I mean, it's just it's a fact of the game. You know, you got to hold teams to one possession as much as you can, and you definitely got to make shots. It's a make or miss league. And so, with that said, he did what he needed to do for his team tonight, and we've been managing him. He's been managing himself. That's why you see that spring and that pop in his step. We've been really efficient about our off-season work when he had his mini camp, training camp, our preseason games, and there's a degree of where we need to be conditioning-wise, and that's the early part of the year. You're gonna go through that type of stuff once you get your game legs under you, but I think he's in a great place, and once our other guys get caught up to speed and that continuity continues to build, he'll be all right. He'll be right back in the sweet spot minutes-wise.